Okay, John, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's a very big honor to have you here as our guest in Let There Be Rock. I have one first question. Have you ever done an interview in which the final countdown was not mentioned?
Well, probably not. They always, ask about that one. Always kind of like when you think you've almost gotten away with it, but in the end, they always comes to like the last question sometimes, and most of the time. Maybe I've done a few maybe a couple, that they haven't mentioned it, but yeah, they always talk about it.
Yeah. So you're now on tour to promote the Last Look at Eden album. In which way you think does it show the progression for Europe as a band, going from Start from the Dark to Secret Society to Last Look at Eden?
Well, Start from the Dark is probably the heaviest album we ever done. I mean, it's very dark album, just like the title says, Start from the Dark. And I just think that we have gotten, towards more rock now. Like on Start from the Dark, it was more, a lot of the stuff was kind of heavy metal, almost, Yeah. So we've gone back a little bit more to, basic rock. And I think also, the Secret Society and Last Look at Eden is much better sounding album, production-wise, than Start from the Dark, But it's still a good album, so it's a natural progression.
Yeah.
We're getting better,
Yeah. But does it also reflect the time or the period in which it was recorded? Because you had the terrorist attacks at the world suffering from terror at the moment that you recorded Last Look at Eden. Does it reflect as well in your music?
Not really. I mean, not for me, anyways. I mean, I think Joey has written, some songs about just that, that what happened, But I can't remember which ones they are now. But I didn't really think about it that much. I mean, I was in America when it happened, and it was, a horrible thing. But it's nothing that I think about when I'm in the studio, I think it's more like a singer type of thing,
Yeah.
Because Joe writes all the words, and so I know that he told me that he's written stuff about that, that incident, So.
Yeah. And Last Look at Eden, it sounds very fresh, sounds very optimistic.
Yeah.
Maybe that goes for the whole album, but maybe except for the last song, which is very emotional, a very strong song, I think. Yeah. What is the story behind that song?
Well, that song was that song is written about my ex-wife, who passed away a year and a half ago, and Joey just brought it in one day to rehearsal place, and he played an acoustic guitar, and I said, I've written a song about Michelle, and I don't know if we're going to use it on the album. And I said, I thought it was really good, really great song. I said, I think we should do it. So it's kind of like a tribute to her, to Michelle Meldrum,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I heard about her.
Yeah.
It's a great song, and especially the solo at the end, which seems to come as a surprise, because you think the song has ended, and then you come in with a very, very blues-oriented solo. It's great.
Yeah, it has a lot of emotion, that one, Yeah. I mean, I just kind of waited for the right moment to happen. Sometimes you just have to wait for, the sun to be in the right place, and you have to be in the right mood and everything. So I didn't do many takes, but it basically me just thinking about her, Michelle. So that's why, people can feel that too, that it has a lot of emotion in it, Yeah. So
it's a heart-splitting song when you listen to it.
Yes, really? Yes, it is.
Even if you don't know the real story behind it.
Yeah, it is. It's a very sad song,
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. So now that you've reunited for 5.5, 6 years, how do you look back at that period? Are you happy with? Did it bring you what you expected from it, or how do you look back on that? The last 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really good. I mean, when we did the first album, people just thought maybe we're just going to do one album and then we're just going to not do it anymore. They just thought it was maybe we just doing like a one-off thing, like a reunion just to make some money or something like that. But now, 5 years later, we slowly have built up like this thing where people actually. It's taken 5 years for people to realize that we actually, you know, doing this full time, and you know we're gonna keep on doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, as long as it's fun, you know, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep on doing it. So we're having a great time right now. So,
Yeah.
so we're gonna keep on doing it. So, but and the last album has been, I mean, very successful, and now even England has, you know, has how do you say it, waking up, you know.
Even England.
Yeah, even England.
They didn't before.
No, not that much. You know, they kind of like a lot of other people, a lot of other countries too in Europe, were kind of like, well, you know, it's just one-off thing. You know, like I said. But the last album has done. I mean, it went straight to #1 in Sweden, and it has gone gold now in Sweden. And we have, you know, we haven't had a #1 album in 21 years. So, but the band wasn't around for about 12, 13 years in that time period.
Yeah.
So finally now we had kind of come back, you know.
Yeah. And talking about Sweden, there's a huge hard rock and heavy metal scene in Sweden. So incredible number of bands that come from Sweden, and good bands. Yeah. What do you think? What's probably you opened a lot of doors for a lot of bands, but is there another reason why there are so many good bands coming from Sweden and Scandinavia also?
Yeah, I don't really know, you know. I mean, I've gotten asked this question before a few times, and I can't really explain it, you know. I mean, you know, we have a sense of melody, I guess, that people kind of like, you know. And I think that goes back like hundreds of years ago. You know, the Swedish, like folk music, you know, is very melodic and has very nice melodies to it. And maybe that's what it is, you know. So I don't really know. Maybe it's just we are Vikings, you know. What can I say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you look at the ratio, number of people and versus number of bands, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yes, it is. It is. Maybe it's just luck, you know. I don't know. Maybe it's just luck, you know. Good luck,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay,
Beginner's luck.
And who do you think is the next big thing coming from Sweden?
Oh, well, I don't know. You know, I don't really listen to any. I don't really listen to any bands, Swedish bands. You know, I never really done that much. Just a few, you know. But I grew up with the English and American bands, and those are the bands I always listen to. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't really follow a scene or anything. You know,
Yeah.
I'm very kind of old school. You know,
Yeah.
I like to stay in the '70s. I like to stay in the past. You know.
I understand the feeling. We're from the same generation, I think. Yeah.
So,
And I have to go back a bit into the 80s, not talking about the final countdown, but like to ask you about the period after you left, because it seemed like an incredible step. You're in a successful band, then you're out because you wanted to be a musician.
yeah.
So that's a guy with balls stepping out such a great band. But
Yeah.
in the years after, how did you look at what happened with Europe then?
Well, you know, I mean, I think that was the best thing I ever done. You know, I mean, after that, so many good things happened to me right after that. I mean, I got a offer to join Dokken, which is also another '80s band. You know, but I got to you know, move to America, and I lived there for over 10 years. And I've done a bunch of soul albums. I've done like, I don't know, 7 or 8 soul albums. I have a new one coming out now soon.
My next question.
Yeah, it's coming out now end of February or beginning of March.
Okay.
And it's also a company here in Holland that's releasing it, Mascot Records. You know, they released a few of my other albums as well. So I had a chance because I was never a rock star, and I never want to be a rock star. I wanted to be a musician, you know. And I'm still that way today, you know.
Yeah.
I leave that to the singer to be the rock star. It's not my thing, you know. I don't like the rock star thing.
So it was one only confirmation of your decision, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and the whole thing was going on in the 80s, you know, with the band was just the whole image thing. It was just so bad, you know. I thought, like I said before, I'm very old school, you know, 70s, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Thin Lizzy, UFO, bands like that. and this was just too teeny bopper. You know, it was too glamour. You know, it was too much. You know, we weren't considered musicians really. We were considered just like some teeny bopper band. You know, and I hated that.
So you mentioned your new solo record, Play Your Blues. So you mentioned it's going to be out in end of February.
Yeah.
I tried to pre-order it at a Danish website, but I didn't succeed. Didn't get through the whole thing. But
no, it's not printed yet. So
yeah, okay,
it's going to print it now any day.
Yeah. What can you tell about it? What's it about the music, the musicians, the style?
Yeah, well, like kind of like the title says, you know, it's a blues album. It's like I say like blues rock, I call it. You know, it has some traditional bluesy stuff, but it's also have a couple of heavy hard rock songs as well. But it's mainly like 90% of it is blues rock, kind of in the style of, you know, like Jimi Hendrix or Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. You know, a little bit of those influences you can hear on there. You know,
it's not like a Gary Moore trip.
No. It's not like that. It's not that. It's not that old man blues. You know, it's not. It's not boring. You know, I love Gary Moore. He's one of my favorite guitar players, and I think his album Still Got the Blues is amazing. You know, he plays like a god. You know, but it gets kind of boring in the long run. You know, so it's not a traditional Chicago kind of blues. It's not like that. It's more towards heavy blues, like Mountain, you know, like Leslie West Mountain and that kind of style, blues hard rock, I should call it, you know.
Why did it take so long? Because there are rumors on the internet for the last 6 to 9 months about this album coming out. But why did it take so long?
Oh yeah, it's been done for like a year. It's been done for a long time. You know, it's just I just put it on ice because my wife passed away. The tragedy. I just didn't feel like putting anything out at the time, and so I was just kind of, I'm just going to wait with it. I don't want to put it out right now. We have a son together that's 5 years old, and I've just been busy taking care of my son, and I didn't really feel like putting an album out. I just going to wait till, you know, when it's the right time. You know,
which is now.
Yeah, which is now. Yeah. Now it feels better. It's been a year and a half now, you know, and it feels better, and our son is very happy, and that's the most important thing. So I put him as, you know, as you always should do with kids, you know, number one priority, you know. So I did not feel like putting any record out. I just like I don't care about it right now, you know. I want to have a feeling about it when it comes out. I want to feel good about it, and I didn't feel good about it at the time.
But you already recorded it a long while ago.
Yeah, it's been done for a long time. Yeah.
And is it still? You still happy with it, bringing it now, or did you have an urge to change music or to change songs? Or
well, a couple of things, you know, have come up. You know, I mean, but it's an album that I'm very happy with. It's like a time. How do you say? It's time. How do you say? Timeless or whatever. It's a blues thing, so you know, it doesn't follow any trends or anything like that. And I'm still very happy with it. My playing on there is the best I ever done. I mean, and I'm very happy with it. There's a couple of things. The hard rock songs, which are 2 or 3 hard rock songs. Now, when I listen back to them, I could have left them out. You know, put another blues songs in there instead. You know.
Do you sing on it?
Yeah, I sing most of the stuff. I have one guy, a Swedish guy, Leif Sundin. He sang on some of my other stuff. He's been in my solo band for a while, touring with me. He also did an album with MSG with Michael Schenker Group, Written in the Sand. And so he guests on 2 songs. And then it's 1 instrumental blues song, and then the rest is the stuff I sing myself. They force me to do it, you know. I don't like to sing. I don't think it's. I have fun in the studio doing it, but it's not something I take very seriously. You know, it's more like a hobby. You know, but everybody wants me to do it. You know, the record company, and everything. You should sing yourself, and you know, okay, I do it, and you know, I drink a couple of beers, and then I go in and have a little bit of fun with it. You know.
But if you feel the fun, and as long as everybody likes it, then it's okay, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But I would never sing any stuff live. You know, it's not really my thing. I've done it in the 80s on my first solo album. I sang a lot live, and I was like, oh no, this is boring. This is not my thing, you know.
Yeah.
I want to concentrate on the guitar playing, you know.
Yeah. What was it like to work with Don Dokken, by the way?
It was great. It was really good. I mean, I've learned a lot from him, you know. I mean, he has a lot of experience in the studio with production and stuff like that, and producing and things like that. So, yeah, so I did the first album was in, I think it was up these 20 years ago, actually. It's strange. Up From the Ashes, which was really great, fun, and we went on tour with that. And then I'd actually been in the band 3 times. It's kind of strange. From 89 to 92, I think, and then from 97 to 98, and then from 2001 to 2002. So I've been going back and forth, you know. And then I did another album with him called Long Way Home, and that was a lot of fun, you know. We had a great time together.
Yeah. You hear these stories about him being a difficult person to work with?
Well, sometimes he is, you know. But he's a lead singer, so all the lead singers are kind of weird, you know, kind of strange. But you know, we had some great times together. But you know, he's a bit strange guy sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But after you get to know him, you know when to stay away. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have some names and some statements, and I would like to ask you if you could give your immediate, spontaneous response to that. Just very short, 1-2 words. Yngwie Malmsteen.
Great, amazing guitar player. You know, a good friend of mine. I've known him since I was 15 years old, and a long time before he even had done his album Rising Force or anything. Really great guy and one of the best guitar players of all time. Really good.
Yeah. Philip Lynott.
Well, one of the best songwriters of all time, and just a big influence on me. You know, as a singer. You know, I mean, he influenced me a lot. You know. You don't have to be a screamer to be a good singer, you know.
Yeah,
so yeah, and he's written some incredible songs, and I've seen Thin Lizzy every time they come to Sweden. You know, I think it was like 8 or 9 times I've seen them. Yeah. I'm a huge fan, you know. Yeah. And I have a Thin Lizzy cover on my new soul album too. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Which song?
It's Only Money.
Only Money.
It's Only Money.
On which record was that?
That's from Nightlife. Which is that's what I like to do. I like to do the Lizzy stuff that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't do Boys Are Back in Town, you know. I mean, that's just stupid, you know.
Boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally boring. Yeah. I mean, leave that to the original. So I find the songs that are a bit, you know, out there, you know, that is like, wow, this is a really good song, but it's not a hit or anything like
that. Marcel Jacob.
Oh, one of the best bass player of all time. I mean, incredible bass player and a great songwriter, and he was, you know, he passed away, you know, recently, and it was just heartbreaking, you know. I mean, the same, I got to know him when we were teenagers, because he was playing with Yngwie Malmsteen, Rising Force at the time, you know. He was just like 15, 16 years old. He's one of the best bass players of all time, incredible bass player.
Sad story, very sad story.
Yeah, horrible.
Adam Curry.
Who's that?
That's the Dutch DJ that started. That was actually, according to the Wikipedia, that was the first DJ that started to play the Final Countdown. Which
yeah, right. I remember him now when you say DJ. Yeah, I remember him. Well, I don't know. I never met him, but I remember him from watching MTV and stuff. You know, in the 80s and stuff. He had the big fluffy hair and stuff. Yeah, I remember.
Just like all you guys.
Oh, exactly. We looked just like him, and he looked just like us. Yeah.
Frank Marino.
Oh, incredible! You know, one of my big guitar heroes. You know, I mean, I have every Mahogany Rush album. You know, and he's just one of the best guitar players of all time. There you go again. I mean, just incredible feel for blues, and you know, amazing singer and songwriter. Really, really good.
Your favorite Europe song of all time?
Oh wow, that's a tough one. I think Last Look at Eden, the song, is probably one of my favorites. Yeah. You know, it's an incredible song. I mean, it's just like, that's one of those songs that I'm never going to get tired of playing. Yeah. Because it has the groove, you know. It grooves, and it's heavy, and it's melodic and everything at the same time. So I have to say, the title track of the new album, you know. Yeah.
Well, John, thank you very much for having the ability to talk to you and to being our guest. We wish you all the best. Have a great gig tonight in Amsterdam. Have a great tour. And one last question: what else can we expect this year from Europe 2010?
Well, we're going to be touring now like crazy all over Europe. You know, for about a month or 3 weeks, I think it is. And after that, we're going to England and Scotland, and after that, we're going to Japan, Taiwan, which I've never been in before. You know, it's going to be quite interesting. And then we're going to do the summer festivals. You know, this summer, which are my favorite. Because then usually that's just you out on the weekends, you know, Friday and Saturday, and then I can spend the rest of the time with my son, which is very important, you know. Yeah. And so we just, we just want to go out and play for everybody, and we hope that everybody will enjoy the shows and get the new album. You know, it's an incredible album, and you know, we love it.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great tour, and hope to see much more of you in 2010.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks.